in Shulchan Aruch, Maran wrote that since there are only 245 words in Qeriat Shema, we repeat the word Hashem Elokechem Emet at the end for a total of 248 words, which correspond with the 248 limbs that a person has. However, Maran actually wrote that the Hazan concludes Shema with Hashem Elokechem Emet and then repeats Hashem Elokechem Emet. Adding the word Emet before repeating Hashem Elokechem Emet led to some confusion as to how to count the 248 words. According to the Radbaz, an authority who was born in Spain at the end of the 15th century and eventually became the chief rabbi of Egypt, and according to the Mahariqas, who was a student of the Radbaz and also became the chief rabbi of Egypt, the Hazan recites the first Emet in a whisper. So it's not part of the count of 248. It's actually part of the continuation with V'yasib or with V'emunah in Arbit. The Haidah, in his book Mahazik Beracha, cites an opinion that the Hazan doesn't say the first Emet at all. Only the congregants answer Emet when the Hazan finishes Shema, and then only the Hazan repeats the words Hashem Elokechem Emet. This custom was also recorded by the Shalmei Sibur, by the Kaf Haim Sofer, and by the Bihayim and Ashistet Tehon in his book on the customs of the land of Israel, entitled Eretz Hayim. But according to Maran, it seems that the Hazan does say the first Emet out loud. Some explain that having 249 words is fine, as long as it's not less than 248, while others explain that the last Emet is not part of the count. It goes with the continuation of V'yasiv and Shahrit, or with V'emunah and Arbit. And according to the Zibhai Sedek and the Ben Ish Hai, who are both authorities from Baghdad in the 19th century, the Hazan does recite the first Emet out loud. Growing up in the community in the 1970s and 80s, no Hazan ever said the first Emet out loud. Either they said it quietly, like the Radbaz and the Mahariqas, or not at all, like the Haidah and the Kaf Hayim. In fact, the Bihayim and Ashistet Tehon suggested that the custom of not saying it at all is actually a custom that predates the rulings of Maran and Shulchan Aruch. He also wrote that the congregant should wait for the Hazan to finish Shema and answer Emet out loud together. He specified that waiting quietly before the word Emet is not an interruption. The Kaf Haim Sofer wrote this as well. If the Hazan finishes Shema before you, or you are not praying with a minyan, you still say Emet and then repeat the words Hashem Elokechem Emet. And according to Hakam Odia Yosef alav Shalom, if the Hazan is not so knowledgeable and he doesn't realize that he's repeating the word Hashem Elokechem Emet on behalf of the congregation, the congregants should repeat the words Hashem Elokechem Emet to themselves before continuing with V'yasiv and Shahrit or with V'emunah and Arbit.